And I guess I'm going to start with the biggest news, which is that Total, French company Total, is planning actually to sell its assets in Nigeria worth about $2.4 billion. Allegedly to China's Sinopec. Now, there are some questions that are raised with this, such as, is Total decreasing its exposure in Nigeria? And I will add that Total declared a force majeure in mid-October in one of its gas plants that it actually owns about 40% stake in, I think,
Correct.
OML. So what do you think? What do you think of the deal? What do you think of the fact that Total seems to be reducing exposure?
There are two things going on. Most international companies, most majors, go through a portfolio rebalancing, either prompted by disaster or opportunities. BP, for example, targeted about $39 billion in asset sales. Part of it was to pay for the Macondo rig disaster. And from all accounts, they've raised about $32 billion, and they hope to do the rest next year. For companies like Total, it may be prompted by opportunities elsewhere. They've just invested a 40% stake in one of the bigger basins in Mozambique. They've indicated they want to make more investments in, I would say, friendlier climes, Kenya, Mozambique, and even some tough places where the hydrocarbon reserves, make chasing it worth it, like Kurdistan, Kazakhstan, the tar sands of Canada, and the gas fields of Australia. There are huge LNG opportunities in Australia. So I think they're not. I don't think they're leaving Nigeria, but obviously they're retrenching their footprint, especially on onshore assets, to take that money and refocus on perhaps better assets or easier assets to develop around the world. An implication for Nigeria is that money that should be spent developing assets here are going outside of the country. The second thing that's in view is production. Total is not the only one that's been hit by, has had to declare force majeure through a combination of natural disaster, the floods in the last month or two, combined with poor security environment, oil bunkering and theft. Most of the oil majors have complained about that, and so we're seeing that impact in Nigeria's production capacity.
And I mean, you talked about Shell. Not only Shell, we have Eni also declaring force majeure. We had Exxon said on Saturday it had shut a pipeline off the coast of Akwa Ibom State, of course, after an oil leak.
Correct.
Now, all these companies, I mean, like you said, raises questions about the problems production is that are being faced when it comes to production in Nigeria and the oil sector. And of course, the implications this is going to have on output in Nigeria next year, and of course on our oil revenues. And the oil price certainly isn't, doing so well currently.
No, absolutely. We're going to face those challenges in the coming year. Production is actually going to be down for a little while before they do a lot of cleanups, repair pipelines, and restart. A lot of those cleanup work or repair work could take anywhere from a month to 3 months. So for a portion of 2013, we may see some pressure on Nigeria's revenues. And if oil prices keep declining, that's also going to have an effect on government revenues, which highlights the need to actually do a little bit more to encourage production. For example, the discussions around the current PIB and whether it encourages that production or encourages long-term investments in Nigeria.
And certainly, I mean, we're losing billions of dollars every day. Nuhu Ribadu just released a report that alleges that we're losing quite a lot.
Correct.
Which is a bit controversial, actually.
Yes,
but what I really want to ask is, give us an update on what's happening with the PIB. I mean, there's a lot of controversy surrounding the PIB. I know we had some oil majors coming out saying that if passed, it will make it unprofitable for new investments to go ahead. So really, it's currently before the National Assembly. What is the outlook? What do you feel? When do you feel we're going to see that PIB finally come into play, especially with all these problems?
It's hard to tell with the National Assembly. I even think there has to be some major updates to that document before. I wouldn't be happy if it was passed in the stage that it is currently. There's so much in it that isn't right for the industry. I know that some of the tussle between oil producers and governments is about royalties and rents and things like that. But in this PIB, that's not even defined. The industry needs certainty, regulatory, legal, fiscal certainty. Those things are not there right now. And I think the idea was that the petroleum minister will set those royalty rates later on, which I think is dangerous. The second thing is that it does make a lot of critical infrastructure investments unprofitable. For example, this year alone, the government declared gas emergency for power plants. Then it put out a gas revolution document, and the idea was that is to develop gas gathering, processing facilities, transmission line. 2 major contracts were awarded for gas transmission between the east and west of Nigeria. All those things have implications for investors. Now, according to the current state of the PIB, a lot of gas investments won't be profitable, whether midstream or whether they are the actual gas E&P. But we need that gas for our power plants. Apparently, only about 10% of gas projects today will be viable, and only about 60% of oil projects will be viable under the current PIB terms. Deepwater exploration, where most of the majors want to move into to at least extract bigger volumes, will not be possible under the current PIB.
Unfortunately, we're running out of time, so I'm just going to go straight to your outlook for the oil price. Certainly not looking so good. We have the US with the fiscal cliff, weak economy over in Europe. What is your take on the direction the oil price is
I think
going?
there are many things pulling oil prices. Japan, China. Japan economy going at weakening economy, China's output increasing, Eurozone fears about, there's still fears about Spain and some countries, and United States is putting out more oil. So I think oil prices are going to trend down for the next year or two. I can't say exactly, but certainly much lower than it currently is today.